Hi, I'm Chris Hilgert with the University of Wyoming Extension Master Gardener Program, and we're going to talk today about watering the garden. Whether you're growing fruits and vegetables or a flower garden, you're going to need to water that garden through the growing season. Mother Nature isn't going to provide us with enough rainwater to keep our plants healthy and thriving. We have a few options, but it's important that you locate your garden near a water source. We can hand water using a hose, and that's going to just require you going out to the garden every day and hand watering those plants. Or you can install a drip irrigation system or an automatic overhead irrigation system set to a timer. The pros of drip irrigation is that it's very efficient. That water gets down to the roots, it stays off the plants, off of the foliage, versus an overhead irrigation system which gets enough water to the plants if it's timed properly, but water on the foliage can lead to some disease problems in the plants, and it's less efficient than a drip irrigation system. So drip irrigation is the most efficient. An overhead irrigation system set to a timer is very convenient, and hand watering just means that you're out there every day watering your plants. If you live in town, the municipal water supply should be good for watering your fruits and vegetables. But if you live on a rural acreage and you're on a well, you should have your water tested to see if there are any issues you're dealing with. Some of the issues that can come up with well water: hardness, soaker hoses, drip irrigation systems can become clogged with minerals. So you may end up having to replace those hoses every couple of years as they get clogged up. Or you might find out that your water quality is just fine. Even in municipalities, though, some issues can come up as we irrigate. Salinity, salt content in the soil can build up from irrigating, and that can show up in very localized pockets around the state, whether you're in town or in the country. But that can lead to some problems with your vegetable garden. So we do want to provide plants with enough water from the time we plant them all the way through harvest. But that time between flowering and harvest is the most critical time. That's when our fruits and vegetables are developing. And you may have heard the old saying that fruits and vegetables are 90% water, and that's true. And so in order for them to be the most productive, we need to make sure we're very diligent about watering during that time. Your soil type and what you're growing will determine how much and how often you water. But a general rule is you want to keep the top 12 inches of soil moist, because that's where the majority of the roots are in our vegetable gardens. Clay soils take water up more slowly than sandy soils, and so we want to change our watering practices and apply water more slowly to a clay soil, because it takes longer for that water to infiltrate or work its way down through the soil than it does a sandy soil. If we water a clay soil with too much water, it can just run off the surface before it has a chance to infiltrate down into the soil. But every irrigation system is a little bit different, and so there's no magic number as far as how long do I set my timer on my irrigation system to run to water that top 12 inches of soil. So what you need to do is turn your sprinkler system on and then set a timer and go out and dig a hole about 12 inches deep and see how long it takes for that water to infiltrate down 12 inches in your soil. If you take a handful of soil out of the garden, it should be nice and loose, and that's good to allow water to move down through the soil as well as air movement through the soil. But it should have the consistency, or say the moisture content, of a wrung out sponge. And that tells you it's got adequate moisture. If it's at that level, come back and water the next day. If it's drier than that, go ahead and give it some water. So if you go out and check your garden every day, you'll get to know how often you need to water your garden based on your soil type.